Hey guys, CryptoDad here again. Thanks for joining me on the Saturday night live stream where you can throw out questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. We'll talk about Bitcoin, we'll talk about the news, we'll talk about altcoins, gonna move some crypto around for you guys, and as always, I'll do my best to get to your questions and see if we can answer and troubleshoot your problems here live. So welcome everybody. It's kind of exciting. I altered the thumbnail to talk about the fact that there are some brand new wallets out there and they're very exciting. We've already demoed the Ledger STAX. I think I got mine in, what is this? Is this June? I think I got mine the very end of May. So I've had my STAX for a few weeks now, but they Trezor just announced new wallets, the Trezor Safe 5, and a few other things. I'm going to go through all of the features of the new Trezor line and some of their new. They have a new backup protocol, which is very interesting. I'm going to go over that as well. And I'm going to move some crypto around for you guys. I had an idea to show you how to move Bitcoin from one ledger to another. So I'm going to do that. And we're going to do a deep dive on wallet technology. I know some of you get bored by this, but this is my, I'm in the trenches every day. I think a lot about this stuff. And so when I discover new information, I like to give it to you guys. So we're going to go through some technical stuff about wallet technology. Did that come out right? Yeah. So let's go over to the big board here and greet everyone. I want to thank everyone that's here tonight. I really appreciate you guys being here. Kenny was here early. Mark Schlossberg from Slovakia, good to have you. Andreas said he can't watch live, but he'll join us later. So if you're joining later, welcome. Let's see. Kenny's gonna, Kenny just said he was going to miss Andreas. Mr. Miskey, like tears in rain. Bobby, Simona Mullen, thank you for being here again. Emmanuel, yes, you are right. It should be a Bitcoin necklace. Amsterdam, Holland, thank you. Asil, always good to be here. Always good to have you here. Scott's here early. It's good to have Scott. Hands Hannah 350. Amster Cam, so annoyed at Trezor, waited months after they launched the Safe 3, hoping for a touchscreen version, but needed a new wallet, so bought the Safe 3. Now touchscreen appears. Not happy. I was kind of surprised too when people asked me a week or so ago, they were saying, hey, I'm waiting for Trezor to come out with their news. I was like, wow. I mean, they just released the Trezor Safe 3 less than a year ago. I don't know if it's been even 6 months or not. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of exciting stuff. You know, I don't know how much crypto you're custodying, but there's nothing wrong with buying an extra wallet. I know everyone seems to be like they compartmentalize everything in their life, and they tend, Joseph, thank you so much for that donation. They tend to compartmentalize crypto over here, and they say, okay, I need a wallet. That's it. Once I get my wallet, I'm great. So I'm going to have to make that big decision, what kind of wallet to buy, and then that's it. You know, but you can have more than one wallet, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have the Trezor Safe 3. And whether or not, I mean, if you're a Trezor man, all Trezor, then sure, have more than one. And use different ones for different purposes, you know. So, yeah, I mean, the new wallet just came out. I usually just run out and buy it. Doesn't matter to me, you know. And I pre-ordered my Trezor Safe 5 Bitcoin only edition because they sold out so quickly with the Trezor Safe 3 Bitcoin only edition. And but I talked to Trezor, my affiliate rep at Trezor, and they are going to be sending me a multi-coin version. So look forward to videos from me. Let's go ahead and fix that thumbnail, shall we? Let's go over here. So here's our thumbnail, and who was it? Emmanuel says, hey, that should be a Bitcoin necklace. Yeah, that's cool, you know. So let's go over to this guy, and let's borrow this one from him. We'll just copy that, and let's see. Let's paste in that Bitcoin necklace. There it is. All right, and then it's a little big, man. It's not. That's more of a 70s thing, right? Oh, maybe the Bitcoin necklace should just be down here. There we go. That looks good. I got 2 necklaces, right? All right, so let's do this. Let's save. Let's save a copy for the YouTube wants JPEGs, right? And I'm gonna take this copy out. I understand why they did this, but they used to make it easier to just like save in a different format. But anyway, all right, and then we'll just go back here to this guy, go down here, and let's change it, and we'll put that new one in there for you guys. Yeah, that's fun. All right, we'll save that, and there it is. Yeah. Let's go back here. Yeah, well, I'm live now, or it's going to have words. I mean, though. And let's change it. I can't look at the thumbnail from here. I've already started. Oh, well. Anywho, you know what I'm doing. Yeah, so I got 2 necklaces, Peace and Bitcoin. Peace and Bitcoin. Cool. All right, so I'm going to get through the news real quick. I'm here jabbering away. Let's get through the news because there's a bunch of stuff I want to talk about tonight. I'm going to try to keep it to an hour. And so let's jump in. Let's get rid of this thing here. Okay, so market news, Bitcoin plunges. I used to always like when they'd say Bitcoin plunges because that was how they would bash Bitcoin, right? It was like every major news story about Bitcoin was when it went down. Oh, Bitcoin plunges. All those idiots that bought Bitcoin, it's plunging. Well, you know, it goes back up too. But anyway, yeah, it went down mostly because of the government data last Friday, and it's kind of been down all week. But if you remember, it was down around 60,000 a couple weeks back, just a couple weeks back, maybe about a month ago, it was at 60. And then it slowly worked its way back up to over 72,000. It broke 72,000, and then, you know, riding on the tails of the good news is bad news market data, Bitcoin came back down, and it's like, is it going to hold 65 or is it going to bounce up from 65? We don't know, but I'm not too worried about it personally. So if you want to check out this story, I've linked everything in the description. Just check down below. By the way, there's some overviews of what we're going to do. I have a pre-order link for you to check out the Trezor Save 3. If you're going to check out this product, I would encourage you to use my affiliate link. It'll take you right to their top level of their website. And after that, they'll give me credit if you decide you want to buy it. So help support me, help support the channel, all that good stuff. I have linked to the Trezor Safe 5 announcement at Prague, the BTC in Prague, which was just a few days ago. You might want to check that out. And then I've tagged the Trezor Wallet YouTube page. Ledger STAX still not available. You can have them notify you. So still, that's a Ledger shop link, but you'll have to go to STAX and say notify me. And then a bunch of other affiliate links for some of the existing models that are out there if you're into that. And news stories. I got all these news stories. I ran out of room trying to get all these news stories in here for you guys. And I don't know if I can do this or not. Let me see if I can do this. I am going to attempt to, I wanted to update the, I'm going to go into my history here real quick. And, where are we here? Andreas, there you are. Ooh, is that the one? Yes, that's the one. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to turn that off. All right, and there we go. And hopefully we won't run out of room here. What I want to do here is I watched this great video by Andreas Antonopoulos. I always recommend you watch his videos. He is much smarter than I. And he has some great crypto education videos. This particular video that I'm linking down here under the news is him talking about what if someone guesses my key. A lot of people ask this question in many forms. I'll get that a lot. How do I know that someone isn't going to generate the same seed phrase as me? How do I know that I'm not going to accidentally get someone else's wallet when I generate a seed phrase? All those questions kind of boil down to what are the chances of someone guessing my seed phrase? So I would check out that video. It's really good, and it hasn't saved yet. Why hasn't it saved? It's still like, is it going to save or not? I don't know. I hope it does. Okay, well, I can't dwell on that. We'll go back. Hopefully it'll save, and if it doesn't, we can go back later. All right, so let's go to the next news story. We talked about politics a couple weeks ago. Donald Trump was at a mining a bunch of mining company representatives were at some sort of function, and he said that he thinks the U.S. should, that all Bitcoin should be made in the USA. Of course, that's not a very sound principle when it comes to Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin mining should be as decentralized as possible. Now, if you've been around as long as I have, there was a lot of fear-mongering and FUD back in 2017 and 18, coming into 2019, about China having too much weight in total Bitcoin mining. There was a lot of, scary stories about how China was going to control Bitcoin and all that stuff. And then China sort of, I don't remember exactly when the big one came through. China has banned Bitcoin many times, but they did go through a big one where they banned trading and mining and chased a lot of miners out of the country. A lot of miners picked up shop and moved to Central Asia, like Kazakhstan, and then into Europe and North America and whatever. And so this whole narrative that, China's going to control Bitcoin, I haven't heard much about it. And now Donald Trump is saying Bitcoin, we should... all Bitcoin should be made in the USA, which is fine. I mean, I think that it's good that the U.S. focuses on Bitcoin mining and that we consider it a good thing. There was a narrative that was sort of invented to bash Bitcoin, that was Bitcoin is not green, and there's still, that was a lie that was just repeated over and over again. Not so much a lie, but you can lie by focusing on certain facts and ignoring others. And so basically you're telling the truth, but it's really a lie when you don't bring in the other factors. And for example, everyone, Bitcoin's not green, but the fact is that the current financial system uses way more technology and has a much larger carbon footprint than Bitcoin. So that's just lying by focusing on certain details. But you'll see that narrative is in there a lot, right? And there's a lot of state regulations based on that narrative that Bitcoin is not green. Trying to limit Bitcoin mining and whatnot. So it's good that he's saying that U.S. should focus more on Bitcoin mining. That's great. But this whole Bitcoin should be made in the USA, I don't know. But we're not going to get too much into politics, but I just wanted to bring it up that he mentioned this, and I think it's kind of an interesting take. And cool, good stuff, right? I haven't heard much from Biden on crypto and Bitcoin. They are open to regulation, but you can just say that, they're talking about regulation years down the road when they're like open to, put it in committee or whatever. RFK, the third party candidate, is pro Bitcoin, but he hasn't said anything about mining that I've heard. Anyway, interesting little story there. Ethereum ETFs should be fully approved by September, says Gary Gensler. we got the generalized approval a couple weeks back, but they are not trading yet, right? They haven't been. Each company has to get its own secondary approval for them to start trading, and apparently now Gensler's saying it won't be till September. That's not that long, but I just thought you should be aware of this. And this is kind of a fun story. Lil Pump and Dump rappers tattoo Solana on forehead after selling Sol tokens. I'm a little confused by this story. He's got this possibly Solana tattoo on his head. But he prefaced the unveiling of this by saying he just sold his Solana. So, I mean, it would make more sense for him to say, hey, I just bought $1 million worth of Solana. Here it is tattooed on my forehead, rather than saying, hey, I just sold all my Solana. Then I got a tattoo on my head. I don't know. The saving grace is it looks like it's above his fake hairline, and he could let his hair grow down over it if he wants to. Or he could get it removed. I don't know. But interesting little story there. A lot of people on Twitter were just kind of bad reactions to this, you know. He's a crypto influencer, I guess, and a rapper. And, you know, some people say he's not really good at either. I'm not going to go. I just thought that was an interesting story. And now let's get to the meat. Trezor to simplify self-custody with onboarding sessions and new wallet. All right, this is kind of what I want to talk about today. Trezor just came out with a brand new wallet called the Trezor Safe 5. And let's see here. Yeah, this is the Trezor page where you can order it. Now, they have a Bitcoin-only version, and they have the universal wallet. Interestingly enough, and I was reading so many stories about this, I'm not sure where that came in. Anyway, somebody at Trezor was kind of like, or maybe it was at the bottom of this story. Yeah, let's check this out. Here it goes. Zach, I guess, works at Trezor. Zach told Cointelegraph that Bitcoin-only Trezor wallet has no security-related differences with the altcoin-supported Trezor. The security is the same because we really make sure all our devices are extremely secure. Well, of course, that's party line, of course. I think the only difference might be that Bitcoin maximalists don't want to see other crap on their wallets. So here he is just basically admitting that you're not gaining any security by having a Bitcoin-only firmware. Although the narrative, I think, goes is that with Bitcoin-only firmware, your attack surface is smaller because it's smaller code base, right, as opposed to the larger code base that incorporates all the other coins. So, yeah, I mean, you could say that the security is improved, but really that statement there just kind of breaks it down to a nutshell. Security is in the mind of the beholder. We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. And of course, Ledger. I've linked some stories here about the Ledger STAX. I've demoed the Ledger STAX last week and the week before, I believe, on the live stream. This is a very interesting story with Tony Fadell talking about his vision. They came to him and asked him, hey, can you help us reinvent the hardware wallet? And something that he said was very interesting. Let me just also mention that Australian Security Exchange approves its first spot Bitcoin ETF. So Australia is getting into the Bitcoin ETF. There are scams out there where people are pretending to be fake crypto investors, or I'm sorry, fake federal employees trying to scare people into giving up their crypto keys or whatnot. These are scammers, right? Pretending to be from the government. I mean, this is like been around for a while. A lot of elderly people get targeted with phone calls from people claiming to be from the IRS, telling them that they're going to go to jail if they don't pay their taxes now, or that this is just the same scam in a different thing. And there's a new protocol. I couldn't get all these stories linked in, so I apologize. Oh, I'll just paste them into the chat window so you guys can, and that is still not saved. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Did that new video get... Yeah, the same one. Can you... No, that's not. That's the old one. I hate that. Ugh. Oh, well. Anywho, you can check on that on my screen. No, you didn't see it. I was offline. Okay, well, whatever. Okay. I'm going nuts here. Okay, let me try this one more time. Let's go to YouTube. Let's go to history. And it's right there. And I'll pause this. I am going to paste this into the live stream chat window, so you guys can check out that video by Andreas Antonopoulos. A really good video, by the way. I encourage you to watch it. All right, so I'm going to copy this news story about the Australian ETFs. Let's see, I'm going to paste this news story about the people, counterfeit people, imposters claiming to be from the government, scamming people. And then this story about Vitalik. Sorry. All right. Yeah, because I ran out of room in my description. I'm just like trying to put so much in there for you guys. Anyway, this is a new storage medium for digital assets. Interesting story, which I've got linked down in the window there. But before I get into deep about the product comparison, I wanted to do this quick little demo for you guys. Or should I? I don't know. What do you think? Should I do this? Should I do the transfer demo, or should I deep dive into the wallets right now? I don't know what to do. You know what? I'm going to save this one. I'll do this one later. So we have two ledgers, and there's Bitcoin in this ledger that I would like to move into this ledger. And I'd like to show you how to do it. But the trick is that Bitcoin is not in these ledgers. The Bitcoin is on the blockchain. So we could think of that as I have two car keys, and I have two cars out in my driveway, and I would like to, move them around. I'd like to move one out into the street, and maybe there's one in the street I'd like to pull into the driveway, and so I need these car keys to go shuffle these cars. So that's kind of what we're talking about here, because we're not moving Bitcoin from this one to this one, although in effect, logically, we can think of it like that. So, but I will do that in a bit. Let's focus on these wallets. I know you guys want to hear about these, so let's jump into the Trezor Safe 5 here real quick. So it's got a touch screen, which is akin to its Trezor T. The Trezor T has a small screen. Where's my Trezor T? Okay. So the Trezor T, and let's get this camera in so you can see it here. Okay. Yeah. So the Trezor T, you'll notice it has a touch screen, but it also has like a bezel around the edge, whereas the Trezor Safe 5 is very similar to the Trezor Safe 3, and yet all of this area is touchscreen. The Trezor Safe 3 is not touchscreen. It relies on these two buttons. The menu appears on this screen, but this is not a touch screen. So in the Trezor Safe 5, we have a touch screen. Not only a touch screen, but haptic touch screen. So it's going to give you haptic feedback, like when you touch your phone and you feel that little bump, whatever. So, and it's color. I don't know how vivid or complicated the color is. I don't think it will be able to display a picture like the Trezor, like the Ledger STAX, right? Although STAX only does grayscale, it's e-ink technology. But this one, I think it's just that the menu stuff is in color. So we've got touchscreen, we've got hepatic, we've got color, all innovations in the Trezor line, right? Excellent stuff, right? We have a secure element chip embedded in this device. We have, PIN and passphrase protected. And we also have the Bitcoin-only hardware version of this, which has, Bitcoin-only firmware. And we've got the universal, which comes in a variety of colors as well. You can see from my thumbnail. So we've got Trezor Suite, which has been around a while. We've got a lot of support. Now, they say 9,000 plus. Now, it's really easy to say 9,000 plus when you're including ERC20 tokens, and there are literally thousands of ERC20 tokens. But when it comes to base crypto blockchains, the Trezor does not support as many specific blockchain cryptos as the Ledger. The Ledger supports Polkadot, and the Ledger supports a lot more cryptos than Trezor does. But Trezor supports Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that is, for most people, that's really all they need. And that, the fact that Trezor supports Ethereum or EVM chains makes it very versatile, maybe not so much in Trezor Suite, but in conjunction with other wallets like Rabby and MetaMask, a Trezor device can support all of the other EVM chains like Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Avalanche, Arbitrum, Optimism, Base. So yeah, the Trezor has a good deal of support, just not as much as the Ledger. But anyway, I shouldn't be talking about the Ledger. We're talking about the Trezor now, right? So we've got very secure, intuitive, easy to use, right? I think this is the season of interface improvements, right? So the Ledger STAX is a watershed event in crypto interface. And the Trezor is a watershed event in the crypto interface for the Trezor line, right? Whether you like one or the other, that's up to you to decide. I'm going to give you as much information as I can. And please don't ask me which one to buy. I don't want to seem like a crotchety old man, but cryptocurrency self-custody is all about self-responsibility. Do your own research, manage your own keys. It's a whole mindset. And for someone to just come to me and say, tell me which wallet to buy, it's weak-minded, right? Don't just go to an expert to find out what's right for you. Do your research, get all the information, and make your own decision. I think our society, our culture, there's too much reliance on experts in our society. And that's bad, right? We were all, when the U.S., and I don't want to, wave my flag or whatever. I know it's like all over the world, there's people that are independent-minded, but the United States was based on like independent-minded people. We were all kind of self-sustaining, independent, patriot farmers, right? And everyone was very independent-minded and self-sustaining, and we didn't rely on huge supply chains and infrastructure. And the U.S. has changed. I know technology progresses, but we're all now everyone is very reliant on the grid, on technology, and on expert advice. Emmanuel, thank you so much for that donation. So please, guys, make your own decision. Don't just come to me and say, which wallet should I buy? It's kind of an apples to orange things. Although the choice between the Trezor, say 5, and the Ledger STAX should be considered carefully. Now, of course, you can get both, right? But if you're trying to decide which one's right for you, stick around. I'm going to tell you more. Right, so they've got the secure chip element, okay? They've got Gorilla Glass. They're open source. They have a commitment to open source, and this is good. Clear and simple wallet backup, and then they mention here that they have an NDA free EAL6 Plus secure element, and this is interesting. Because most secure element chips have NDAs, which is a non-disclosure agreement. It just means that you have to sign a contract saying that you will not reveal anything you learn about the technology if they share it with you. And I'll go into one of the articles here where Trezor bought a secure element chip, asked them to reveal the internals, and then Trezor was able to find some flaws, and they went back to the company that made the chip and said, hey, we found some flaws, and the company was like, well, you can't tell anybody about these. And then Trezor was like, yeah, but we were able to crack it pretty quick. These are local attacks, right? So don't freak out and think that the wallets are unsafe. I'm just anyway. And then Trezor said, hey, why don't you open source or why don't you do a security review? And the secure element chip makers just laughed at him. Right. So this is an interesting thing. So I don't know what this means, right? I did a bunch of searching and tried to find out what exactly the heck are they talking about NDA free. I'm sure parts of it are still embedded and obfuscated, but maybe it just means they can talk about it. I don't know. But it's better than most secure element chips, transparency-wise. So that's another feature. And then down here they say it has a micro SD slot. And I'm like, well, what's that all about? I didn't hear anything about that. It's got a little check mark next to it. I don't think the Trezor Safe 3 has a micro SD card slot. I don't see one. So that's kind of cool, but they didn't bring it up. So, and then they have this new backup recovery 20-word. Now, this is very interesting. Let me see where they talk about that a little more. I have all of these. Yes, multi-share backup. Now, what's interesting about their new multi-share backup is that they have an option to use a 20-word seed phrase. Now, you may not be aware of this, and I wasn't. I had heard it, but I was reminded when I read this that it was actually Trezor, the company that proposed BIP39 Bitcoin Improvement Protocol. The BIP39 was proposed by Trezor. Trezor has been in the trenches in self-custody for years. It's pretty interesting. But usually you have a single backup, 24-word, which is that's your only backup. You can make multiple copies of that, and you can hide them in different places. But each backup is full access to the seed phrase, right? So anybody that finds any of your backups would compromise your wallet, right? Now, a multi-share backup is slightly different from a Shamir backup. The Shamir backup is also kind of a multi-piece backup that breaks up your phrase into different parts, and you could do, say, 3. And then you only need 2 of 3 to restore. You could do 5, and you only need 3 of 5 to restore. You could do 7, where you only need 5 of 7 to restore, so that if 1 or 2 of them got damaged or lost, you'd still be able to reconstruct and gain access to your crypto with, as long as you still had that threshold, right? As long as you still had 5 out of your 7, you'd still be able to restore. That was Shamir backup. Kind of complicated, but this new one, the 20-word seed phrase, is interesting in that if you use the 20-word seed phrase, and is this the same? Oh, you can start with, okay, here we go. They were talking about the difference between standard seed and Shamir backup. The enhanced backup standard allows you to set up with a single share. So you could start with a single share and then later upgrade to the multi-share. Now this is really innovative, right? A lot of people like can't wrap their head around this stuff, but this is really interesting that you can convert a single share backup to a multi-share backup. And then we still have those same protocols. So I can, when I have a multi-share backup, I can create 7 pieces. And if someone finds one of those pieces, they won't be able to gain access to the crypto. They would have to find the threshold. So if it were a 5 of 7 scheme, someone would have to find all 5, or at least 5, to gain access to the crypto. And of course, that does increase complexity, and a lot of people start to falter as the backup scheme gets more complex. But this is really an innovative solution to the problem of people losing their seed phrase, right? And this is one of the reasons why Ledger has their recover service. It also is a solution to the fact that people tend to lose their seed phrases. Right. So very innovative product, innovative backup solutions from Trezor, a very interesting device. And like I said, I pre-ordered one, so I will have one. I will do a demo. And yeah, but I did also want to talk a little bit about the Ledger STAX. Some very interesting things about the STAX that did not occur to me before. And one of them is that, let's see, I'll turn this camera on real quick. Notice that when the STAX is in low power mode, that you can, its name shows up on the side. Now this is very important, and it's not just kind of an aesthetic thing. This has functionality. The problem when you have multiple devices is that you can get them confused. Notice that I have one of these labeled so I don't mix them up, because these are both black. These are both Ledger Nano X blacks. So, but the problem is when you're managing multiple devices, which it will become more commonplace, it's possible to mix them up, and people get mixed up easy. And I've seen people lose access to crypto because they've mixed up their devices, and they've got an account in Ledger Live, and they're trying to use a device, and they get error messages when they try to manage the crypto. And the first question I will ask them is, do you have more than one device? And a lot of times they'll say something like, yeah, but this is not it. You know, yeah, but the other one is over there. It's not this one. And you're like, and I'll say, would you mind going and digging that thing out of the drawer and bringing it over here so we can test it to see if it actually can give you access to this Ledger Live account? And boom, lo and behold, it does, right? So if you, this is a real problem in keeping your crypto devices straight. One of the things that they mention in this article is that, we've got it stackable, so we can stack our Ledger stacks. They're pretty cool. And then you can label them my crypto, my FTs, my portfolio. What Whatever suits you best. Save your partner, check this one out, save your partner from mistakenly factory resetting the wrong device by entering the incorrect PIN 3 times in a row, right? So your partner might grab your device thinking that it's their device and then enter the PIN incorrectly 3 times and reset your device, forcing you to have to restore your device. Or worst case scenario, you can't find your seed phrase and they've just reset your device because they got the devices mixed up. So the whole cool thing about the Ledger STAX is that it has a built-in mechanism for keeping the devices straight, right? By giving them meaningful names, and that's really cool about e-ink technology. Also, the Trezor Safe 5 is glass, and just like a phone that uses glass, they need to operate at higher temperatures, so they need more energy, and that's why your phone goes to sleep. Right? Because you can't just leave your phone screen on all the time. You can, but the battery will discharge. You'll have to keep it charged. E-ink technology operates at a much lower temperature than a glass device because the screen is not glass. It's made from some kind of polymer, so it can operate at a much lower temperature and can maintain the image, whether it's an NFT or a picture of yours, and the label in a low power mode, right? So that's what makes this thing really cool, right? I didn't bring this up before, but I did. I wanted to bring that up. Also, let me just go through this one last thing before I get caught up, because I can see people are bringing stuff in. I hope it's not someone. Dan is not here tonight, so it's all up to me. But I'm going to just talk about this little article real quick, which I find really interesting. And Tony Fadell, if you don't know who Tony Fadell is, he is credited with inventing the iPod, which was debuted in like 1997, 1998. It was a massive hit for Apple. It really saved the company. And a big part of the iPod was the interface. And so someone, I think maybe Ian at Ledger knew Tony and said, hey, Tony, can you redesign from the ground up this crypto wallet? And so there were a lot of considerations. He talked about the size, but what was really interesting is how he talked about other crypto wallets. Okay, here it is. Step 1, I decided to try everything on the market. Makes sense. I don't know why this is so small. I decided to try everything on the market. And this is what I found. Now, this is very important. I have noticed this myself. This is what I found. Black boxes, different sizes, lots of buttons, tiny screens, nothing intuitive, nothing unique. They look like other products that already exist. Momo888, thank you for that. Is it a USB key? Is it a remote control? Is it a calculator? I was confused, right? This is a great insight into the state of crypto hardware wallets, right? They're all tiny little, ganky little devices with tiny little screens and weird buttons and like, what is this thing? How do I use it? It's not intuitive. This is the problem with crypto hardware wallets. And that is what the Ledger STAX is attempting to solve, and also the Trezor Safe 5. Improved interface. This is really what's needed in the crypto hardware industry, is improved interface. Everyone talks about security. I want it to be secure. I want it to be secure. Has to be the securest thing ever. That's not secure enough. I need more security. Well, guess what, guys? Most people when you get above a certain level of complexity, are going to screw things up and lose their crypto. So more security is not always the answer, right? We're worried about losing our crypto, right? So people think, oh, more security is better. That way I'm not going to lose my crypto. No, more security leads to more complexity. More complexity leads to people screwing things up and losing crypto. So more security is not always the answer, right? Better interface, better ways to solve the issue of people losing their backup phrase. So Trezor has a new 20-word backup solution that can be expanded to multi-piece shares intuitively, and much better than the old way of 24-word or 12-word seed phrase backup. It's an improvement on that technology to solve the issue of people losing their seed phrases. It happens all the time, guys. Believe me, happens a lot. People lose seed phrases. People write seed phrases down incorrectly. People's seed phrases get destroyed, lost, stolen, whatever. This is a huge problem in crypto industry. So security is great. There are a lot of wallets out there that are improving security. That's all well and good, right? Open source is great too, but interface. We need better interfaces. All right. I'm on a roll, right? And we need a way to solve the losing the seed phrase. So Ledger's solution is Ledger Recover, that service that everyone hates, right? Ledger Recover. Everyone in the crypto sphere bags on Ledger over Ledger Recover. Oh, because it violates the principle of self-custody. But crypto self-custody, the face of crypto self-custody is changing, right? People need better solutions, right? So this is why Ledger introduced Ledger Recover, because people lose their seed phrases all the time. So we've got a different tack, right? We've got Ledger has Ledger Recover, and Trezor has their new their new 20-word backup phrase that can be expanded to multiple pieces, right? Help people keep their seed phrase secure and prevent losing it by having multi-piece backups, right? So if you lose one or two, you can still regain access to your crypto if you need your backup phrase. Interesting stuff going on. So we need improved interfaces. We need a better solution to the, the reliance on the paper backup, right? Now there are metal solutions and that kind of stuff, but these are real problems in self-custody. Trezor is trying to solve these issues. Ledger is trying to solve these issues with these new improved wallets. So exciting stuff happening, right? Let me see. What is everybody asking me? I know my moderators are not here tonight. I have the Model 1. It's pretty good. Go Trezor. Cool, Toro, right? That's right, Rex. Very few Americans can critically think. Thank you, Bobby. I don't think so. I have a Safe 3, and I'm all seeing is that the Safe 5 has a cute display. That's it. I agree. You're right. It is basically an improved interface, but like I said, I feel that's very important. But if you're comfortable with your Trezor Safe 3, it is a great secure wallet, right? Trezor is open source, Ledger is not. That is another comparison, but I've got some stuff about open source that we'll go over here in a minute. I'm starting to run out of time, but I still want to do this. Wait, Ledger is not safe, question mark. Are we sure about this? People say Ledger is not safe. That is a narrative that's out there. I've done a couple of different videos addressing these issues. If you look in my content, check my channel out. I've done a couple of videos addressing the entire Ledger is not safe narrative. are Ledger devices safe to use? I address these concerns. So check this out. I do not feel that these issues that people are saying Ledger is not safe, they're basically repeating hysterical narratives that came about when Ledger introduced Recover. I address these issues. You can decide for yourself. Watch this video. Also, read the comments. A lot of people disagree with me, so definitely watch the video and read the comments. Also, I have another video that I just recently did, Is Ledger Recover Right for You?, where I address all the concerns about Ledger Recover. I'm sure a lot of people disagree with me on these, but I'm trying to keep things rational instead of just reacting to emotional arguments where people just come in and say Ledger is not safe, don't trust Ledger, all that stuff that really it needs a little more. It needs to be qualified with facts rather than people just screaming Ledger is not safe, right? So check out this video. If you're, oh my God, Ledger is not safe, I hadn't heard about that. Well, watch those two videos, right? All right, so let's talk about this whole open source versus non-open source. Promised Ledger CEO Pascal promised Ledger would open source the code for review. We're still waiting. It was all talk because they pinned him as part of the marketing fiasco. My concern is the Safe 3 was the coin support that they dropped. Glad to see support got added back to Safe 5, especially as someone who is active in older coins like VTC and Digibyte. Funny how Ledger and Trezor are not US based. That is true. One is from France, one is from the Czech Republic. We need a live demo of STAX. I've done several STAX live demos. My last two live streams, if you go to my channel and check out my live streams, I believe on my homepage I have a live streams playlist where you can check out my previous live streams. I did Ledger STAX demos, I believe, in the last two live streams. And I've done like 1, 2, 3, 4 step-by-step live stream stack, or not live, but step-by-step tutorials on using the Ledger STAX. So check out my channel. I've done at least 4 up to now. So check those out, guys. Now, let's crush your illusions, right? First of all, this is from the Blockstream Jade tech support page. This is Blockstream Jade talking about secure element chips. So the latest versions of the Ledger, all Ledgers actually, the Trezor Safe 3, the Trezor Safe 5, all employ secure element chips, which has secrecy, obfuscation, right? So here's Blockstream Jade talking about secure element chips. Closed source chips, let me see if I can go up here. Secure elements are closed source, right? All you people out there that are claiming that Ledger is not open source, have you thought about the fact that secure element chips are not open source? Right? They are not. Right? I hate to, rain on your parade, but the whole this is not closed source, this is argument is kind of moot when we're talking about secure element chips. Secure element chips prevent local tampering, which is a big deal, right? Secure element chips are closed source chips that are integrated into hardware wallets in order to protect from physical attacks. They are typically covered by NDAs. We talked about this earlier. Trezor is talking about a non-NDA secure element chip. That's all I can find about it. Increase the cost of the hardware wallet and prevent users from building their own device. Secure open source means not just that it's free and transparent, it also means that anyone can build on the code. This is not always ideal when you're talking about a company with proprietary technology, right? Does Ledger really want to make all their code open source so that Joe Blow can go make his own ledger? And, the Ledger clones are going to be out there. So it's understandable why some of the source code is closed source. It's understandable that a secure element chip is necessary, but not open source, right? Now I'll blow your mind a little more. Let's talk about the security concerns of open source code, right? Open source code is not a silver bullet that's going to make everything all rainbows and unicorns, right? Everyone bashes Ledger because they're not fully open source just because they've heard other people say it, right? Open source is not a silver bullet, even at its best. And I've said this many times, open source does not always apply when we're talking about a real world physical device. All right? Security concerns. There are essentially three main risks that come with using open source software from a security perspective. I've linked this article down below in the description. Open source software development is decentralized. This means that there is essentially no authority that is ensuring the safety of any given fork of the software. Boom, security concern number one on open source. 2, crypto wallets inherently access sensitive information, and vulnerabilities discovered in the source code can be exploited by attackers before a patch is released. Another security concern about open source code. Electric chips that allow the firmware to be open source generally lack security measures that can be used to secure the data stored on them. So guys, guess what? Open source is not a silver bullet, right? You can't just say open source, not open source, closed source bad, open source good. It's not that simple. Let's talk now. This article gets way deep into it. I'm not going to go too deep into it. I don't want to bore you. But I want to, hopefully I can find this little piece where they talk about it. Okay, this is it. It's amazing how the human brain works, right? This is the security threat model that most people believe in because the way people think about stuff is flawed. In other words, the stuff that people are familiar with, like user error, people tend to dismiss that as not being huge, right? That's not a big security concern because I get user error, right? I understand user error. And then we move on to protocol errors, like how the company, produces the software and the hardware, right? And then we get into software bugs, hardware bugs, and into each of these levels, there is things that people don't understand. We get into side channel attacks and direct readout attacks. These are because people don't understand these things, they feel it's a bigger security risk, right? So we start with low risk as being user error, and then as we get into things that we don't understand, we tend to magnify those as being bigger security risk. When in actuality, this is opposite of the way it works, right? The attack surface is much bigger for user error. I've said this over and over and over again. People don't realize that the biggest attack surface is the end user. That's why all of the scammers and the email phishers are targeting the human, because that is the easiest and most insecure component of a hardware wallet, is the end user. That's the biggest security risk. Actually, as we go into these finer security areas, the hardware bugs, the side channels, and the direct readout, these are lower security risks. Now, here it is. In practice, user error, weak passwords, spear phishing, typo squatting, straight up fat fingering, and poorly designed UX is common and often remotely exploitable. Protocol errors, downgrade attacks, failures to check signatures are likewise fairly common and remotely exploitable. Next in order are just straight-up software bugs, buffer overrun, user afterfreeze, and other logic bugs. Due to the sheer volume of code and more significantly the rate of code turnover involved in most security protocols, there are a lot of bugs in a constant stream of newly minted bugs with each update. Beneath this are the hardware bugs. These are logical errors in the implementation of a function of a piece of hardware, such as memory aliasing, open test access ports, oversights such as partially mutable cryptographic material. Underneath logical hardware bugs are side channels, leakage of secret information through timing, power, and electromagnetic emissions that can occur even if the hardware is logically perfect. And finally, at the bottom layer is direct readout, someone with physical access to a chip directly inspecting its arrangement of atoms and readout secrets. While there is ultimately no defense against the direct readout of non-volatile secrets short of zeroizing them in tamper detection, it's an attack surface that is literally measured in microns, and it requires unmitigated physical access to hardware, a far cry from the ubiquity of user error or software bugs. So we got all these people bashing Ledger and talking about, oh, the hardware wallet has to be secure, you should be using cold card, you should be using air gap, all this stuff, when really that's not really the biggest risk in a crypto hardware device. The biggest risk in a crypto hardware device is the end user. So better interface, better handling of the human fallible management of the private key is really where we need to improve security. And that's where the Trezor Safe 5, with its improved interface and its improved backup technology, the 20-word backup, right, that we talked about, that's really where we need to focus our attention. And that's where Trezor has done an excellent job. And then with Ledger, we've got an amazing interface, right? So we're improving the interface so that people will be more comfortable using the device, make less mistakes, right? Remember what I talked about in that Tony Fadell interview or article where Tony Fadell was decrying. He tried out every hardware wallet he could find. And, oh, they're just a bunch of black boxes, different sizes, lots of buttons, tiny screens, nothing intuitive, nothing unique, right? You take a typical Western American, dependent on the grid, TikTok watcher, hand them like this crazy black box crypto wallet with all these buttons and a tiny screen. They're like, WTF, what is this? I need a interface like my phone where I can just touch screen. I want it to be intuitive. I want it to be easy to use. I want it to be easy to see, right? That's what we need in the hardware industry. So Ledger and Trezor have both tried to solve this issue with improved devices that have improved interfaces and an improved way of dealing with the number one problem with self-custody and that is people mismanaging their seed phrase, losing their seed phrase, destroying their seed phrase, that kind of stuff. That's where we really need to focus our attention. All this debate about, oh, this is not open source, open source good, closed source bad. It's really not that simple, right? We need to take a multi approach. All right. So, I know I'm probably boring most of you, so let me do my little demo here. So I have two devices, and I'd like to move some Bitcoin that is being managed on this device over to my son's, Alex's device, right? Notice I have a label on Alex so I don't get that confused. So first of all, let's look at my Ledger Live. All right, so in my Ledger Live, I have some Bitcoin in this wallet. This wallet is being managed by my device, right? I would like to move this Bitcoin over to Alex's device. Now, let's take a look real quick here. I'm just going to quickly, where am I? Users. Okay, I'm going to go into my app data folder, which is where Ledger Live stores its preferences, and do a little magic. I need to quit Ledger Live in order to accomplish this. I'm going to rename the Ledger Live preferences folder, right? And then I'm going to take Alex's and I'm going to make that the active one. All right, let's launch this. So we can look at Alex's copy of Ledger Live, and we can assume that this is maybe over on his computer, not my computer, right? But you can see, okay, he's got some Bitcoin, he's got some Solana, he's got a little bit of Ethereum, he's got some other stuff or whatever, but this is his device, right? This is the Ledger Live that is tied to his device. Right? How can I move the Bitcoin in my copy of Ledger Live over here? Right? How would I accomplish that? Well, let's go back. Let's make this one Alex again. And just kind of forget that these are on my computer, right? Let's just assume that Alex's copy of Ledger Live is not accessible from my computer, right? So how can I access Alex's Bitcoin so that I can move my Bitcoin from my device onto his device? Theoretically, right? We know Bitcoin is on the blockchain. We're moving Bitcoin from one blockchain address to another, but these devices manage that. Well, I've already got my device represented here in this copy of Ledger Live. So let's take Alex's device and let's connect it. Sorry about that. Let's connect it. I'm going to enter the PIN. All right, and we'll turn on this camera. We're going to use Ledger devices, so let's change the shape of this, right? I was doing STAX last week. Let's make this a little bigger. All right, so I want this so that you can see what I'm doing here. This is Alex's device, right? So what I want to do is I want to add a Bitcoin account to my Ledger Live based on Alex's device. Well, how do I do that? Well, I connect his device, and then I go to my Ledger Live and hit Add Account. And I say I want to add a Bitcoin account. It asks me to open the Bitcoin app, which I'm sorry, I already opened the Bitcoin app. So now it finds his Bitcoin account. You remember we were looking at Alex's Bitcoin account over in Alex's copy of Ledger Live. Well, now I can see it in my copy of Ledger Live, right? And I named it Bitcoin Alex so I don't get confused, right? We're dealing with Alex's device, right? So I'm naming the account appropriately. Now I've got his Bitcoin account right here. And I need to move some Bitcoin from my Bitcoin account over to his account. Well, how do we do that? The first thing we'll do is get his address. We'll hit receive, continue, and then it'll do the hardware check just so we know we haven't made any mistakes. And there's the address on Alex's device verifying that this account is tied to this device. I've copied that into my clipboard, and then I can go ahead and approve this, and I'm done. Now I need to move Bitcoin from my account to his account. Well, I've got the destination address, right? So let's go into the account. Let's hit send. Hopefully the blockchain fees aren't going to be too bad. Blockchain fees are kind of weird. They could be high. During a couple of weeks ago, I had like a $35 fee and I gave up. Well, let's hit continue. $2.51, looking good. Now, here's I'm going to go ahead and send it all. It goes up to $4. I can deal with that. Let's hit continue. Now, here's the issue. When I hit continue, what's going to happen? Well, it's going to tell me that the wrong device is attached because this is Alex's device. The destination is associated with his device, but the source is associated with my device. So I need to disconnect Alex's device, and I need to connect my device. All right, I need to enter my PIN. All right, and now I have access to my device. So let's retry. Because my device can manage this account, right? Because this account was created with this device. So it's going to load up, and I have the right device attached. So now I'm ready to. Let me see if I can get this one just a little bigger for you guys, right? So I need to review the output. There's the amount. There's where it's going. That's Alex's address. We're going to hit continue. Now we need to approve the fees, which weren't that bad, right? $4. I can live with that. Hit both buttons. Off it goes. And I'm done, right? Now I have 0 Bitcoin in this account. Let's go back to accounts. Let's go up here to Alex. And lo and behold, Alex's balance is up. There's that received transaction, and good, right? We moved Bitcoin from my device to his device, theoretically, right? Actually, it's just addresses out there on the blockchain. Now, let's go ahead and close. Well, I don't need Alex's account in my copy of Ledger Live because it's going to like make my portfolio be weird, right? It's going to have Alex's balance in there. So I am going to just remove this, right? If we go to accounts, I'll just go up to Alex, I'll right click, and I'll say edit account, and then remove from portfolio, because I don't need to see it anymore. I've already made the transfer. So there's no point in managing or, observing his Bitcoin account in my Ledger Live. I like to kind of keep an eye on my balance rather than his, right? So now let's turn the sky off. So how can we confirm that it ended up in Alex's copy of Ledger Live? Well, let's go back here. Let's alter these. And let's just assume that this isn't happening on my computer, that we're just going over to Alex's computer and launching his copy of Ledger Live. All right, let's go and look at Alex's Ledger Live. And there we go. Lo and behold, if we go to accounts and we check that Bitcoin, there's that incoming Bitcoin, right? So we have effectively transferred that Bitcoin from my device, my Ledger Live, over to Alex's device and his Ledger Live. Easy peasy, right? All we had to do was connect his device, temporarily set up the account, get the receiving address, and then make the transfer. Once the transfer was done, I just did a little cleanup in my copy of Ledger Live by deleting that account. So now my Ledger Live reflects my balances, his Ledger Live reflects his balances. All right. And then now let's go back. And now that we've checked his copy of Ledger Live, I want my copy of Ledger Live to be on my computer. So we switch it back. There's my Ledger Live. I can manage my balance, and I can take Alex's device, right? And I can put it in the box, right? And close that and just put it on a shelf, right? And then, you know, when he goes to college, he can need it. Okay. Let's see, is someone asking a burning question? And I'm ignoring them? Great video, CryptoDad, thank you. Is the Trezor Model 1 good hardware? Sure, yeah. Each has its own place in the Trezor model line, right? The Trezor is still selling the Trezor 1. All right, if you go to products, they still have all three devices available. Obviously, the Trezor 1 is the most inexpensive, right? It doesn't have a touch screen. It doesn't have a secure element chip, but it's a decent device, right? Since it does not have a secure element chip, it has a higher attack surface for tampering if the attacker has possession of the device. Guys, please, 99.9% of the time, the attacker does not have physical access to your device, right? Most people keep their device in their house, in their desk drawer, in their safe, right? The whole, you know, oh, this thing's vulnerable to a physical attack does not really come into play that much, right? Most people that come in and rob your house are looking for something easy to sell, like your TV, or your jewelry, right? Whatever cash you have in your wallet or whatever. They're not going to come into go through your office desk drawers to get your Trezor, you know, so they can go crack it, right? Right? The physical attack is really not that big of a deal, right? So Trezor 1, great device. Trezor Safe 3, a little more advanced, right? Secure element chip. I don't see the Trezor T there. I don't know why I don't know why they don't have the Trezor T. Trezor Safe 5, Trezor Safe 3. I don't know. Are they discontinuing the Trezor T? I don't know. I could have sworn they said they were still selling them all. Okay. Wow, maybe they are discontinuing the Trezor T, because Trezor T was a touchscreen, and now they've got a better one. So maybe they're phasing out the Trezor T. So, but of course, Trezor Model 1, most inexpensive. Trezor Safe 3, a little more. Trezor Safe 5, $169. A little steep. If all you got's $100 worth of crypto, you know, you're gonna go spend $169 to keep it safe? I don't know. You got $5,000 worth of crypto, it's worth, you know, spending a little extra on a decent hardware wallet, the best, right? Where is the general security risk in offline wallets? We talked about this earlier. It's mostly the end user, because the end user is managing the private key. The end user is vulnerable to scammers and phishers. Right? I know people like, wait a minute, it's a hardware wallet. How is this thing going to get attacked? Right? It's mostly going to get attacked by targeting the user. We talked about this earlier. It looks different to other cryptos. Where can I find this article? What article are we talking about? I have linked every article that I've discussed today, either down in the description or in the chat window. So, Ledger key doesn't look good compared to Trezor, LOL. Mang, okay, Mang, can I have question about crypto? Okay, Mang, what's your question? You need someone to help you. Mang, it looks like you're one of my members, so why don't you shoot me an email. I can't transfer money from DeFi wallet to Coinbase wallet. Okay, that sounds like something, I mean, I can't just answer that off the top of my head. Please shoot me an email, Mang. Please, I'm begging you. Shoot me an email so I can help you. I can't really help you during the live stream with a question like that. I need more information. Yeah, true physical threat is not the main concern. Even if they did try to crack the Model 1, it's still not easy. Question mark. Yes, even cracking the Model 1, although more vulnerable to physical attacks, it's still not trivial, right? It needs like an expert in crypto. They need specialized tools. They need physical access. This is not a huge threat. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to take off. I went longer than I wanted to, but I wanted to get in that transfer demo for you guys between two hardware wallets. I'll do more demos of STAX. I did a phone STAX demo. That's the one I posted yesterday or the day before. You should check that one out. Trezor Model T still for sale. Kenny, thank you for that. Yeah, I'm surprised it's not on their website right now. That's kind of weird. But yeah, I would imagine you could still get one. Yeah. Products and accessories. Yeah, I don't know why it's not on this page. It's kind of weird. Anywho. Guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. I really appreciate everyone. I'm going to spend some time with my lovely wife tonight. It's hot here in Michigan. We want to go sit outside on the porch. I love Michigan, you know, it's really cool. It gets hot in the house during the summer because houses up here in the Midwest were really not like down in Texas, you know, every building is like ice cold because they put everything into their air conditioning system. Whereas in the Midwest, you have like you know, a heater cooler unit in your basement or whatever, and it keeps the house pretty warm during the winter, but during the summer it has trouble keeping the house cold. We got an older house or whatever. But anyway, what's cool about Michigan is that you can go outside in the evening and in the morning and it's nice and cool. So we're going to go sit out on the porch for a little bit. Kenny, thank you for being here early. Dan and JDO, wherever you are, thank you for everything that you do. Dan contacted me earlier. He's got an open house. He wasn't able to be here at the live stream. I apologize if some of you came in with questions and I was not able to get to your questions immediately because I was babbling on and on. But I hope you got something out of my you know, what we talked about tonight. Make an informed decision. Another difference between Ledger STAX and Trezor Safe 5 is that Trezor Safe 5 Trezor is taking pre-orders right now. So you can pre-order your device, right? I've got a link in the description that'll take you over to the Trezor website if you want to do your pre-order. STAX is not available yet. They are still, if you go to the STAX page in Ledger, you're just, all you have is notify me. Thank you for the donations tonight. I believe Joseph made a donation. Thank you so much for that, Joseph. As always, I appreciate you. Emmanuel, thank you so much for your donation. Thank you, everyone that asked questions. Oh, JDO was here. I'm sorry I didn't see you, JDO. Thank you so much. If Trezor uses 20-word phrases, it appears to be not BIP39 compliant, along with any ability to move your tokens from one wallet to a different type of wallet. That is true. I believe it is a new protocol. I don't think that it's backwards compatible with BIP39, so that could be an issue for a lot of people, especially if you want an easy migration and you have a lot of cryptos. You're going to have to set up the wallet with a 20-word seed phrase and then make transfers, right? You're not going to be able to migrate using the seed phrase. So that is for sure one consideration about moving to that 20-word backup. Thank you for pointing that out, JDO. Thank you for being here. Everyone that came and watched, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for spending your Saturday with me. Check out my channel. I'm posting lots of videos. I will, of course, be posting a lot of videos in the next month or so when I get a hold of my Trezor Safe 5. So expect that. Once again, I appreciate everyone for being here. Oh, you had an article with the graphs talking about security in hardware wallets. Yes, that is posted down below in the description right here towards a more secure element chip. That blog post is in the description down at the bottom. Sorry. In the description right there, towards a more open, secure element chip. Those graphs, and that's in a blog post. Now, that blog post is not specifically about crypto hardware wallets. It's talking about open source secure element chips in relation to CPU technology. But the sections that I highlighted apply to secure element chips in general. Just want to make you aware of that. But that one is linked down below in the description. Check it out if you're interested in finding out more about that. Anywho, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you all. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you wish to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Also, I will be here again, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me next week for the live stream from Michigan at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard, where you can throw out questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. Hope to see you there. Have a good week, everybody.